on you, and they are able to take that finishing blow. So unfortunate, because that could have totally been that lead to what they were hoping for to keep this set going.
That pencil was waiting for that golden opportunity, and we both know it. They were sitting there like, all right, get in my range, come on, come on. Like, you saw it when it panned back to them. Who are you? I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
That's good pencil gaming. But no, yeah, just an insane. It's actually just taking it back where it mattered most. Memento Mori with a 3-0 sweep here. Cactus taking revenge and moving forward in the losers bracket.
Absolutely. They're going to move on their way to go against Heavy Metal in that losers finals, but we are going to be switching over to, I believe our next set is already ready to go. I gotta love how quick a lot of these teams are raring to go, but that's the excitement about an event like SuperJump, where you just want to get these games rolling constantly.
Oh no, absolutely. And I think that's the fun part. All of these teams being, you know, fired up to just get going and fight each other, and that is a different remix. There's more remixes. But our next match is going to be number 35 Caught versus Remix. I do notice one player, Flinking, flings a warrior, and I have so much respect for that. I'm not quite familiar with these players. Cactus, do you have any information for us?
I'm kind of, you know what? I have seen on 35 Caught the player Dreamy Zach around before, and I do know I've seen them in a couple of Twitch chats around as well, just taking as much knowledge as they can, learning as much as they can. So at least that's an experienced player I've seen before. I'm not too familiar with some of these players on the side of Remix, but I always find that the exciting part, because you have no idea what they're going to bring to the table. And just to update those of exactly where we are as well into day one, this is going to be Redemption round number 1. So that's where we are sitting, and this will, whoever wins this will move on to round 2 to see who will make their way into a alpha bracket win or the loser side of beta. So that's where we're coming from with this match going on in. So should be exciting.
Yeah, I would say there's quite a lot on the line as well, but we are going to be starting out Splatoon's Umami Ruins. Oh, do I have some words about this map? I have some very fun words about this map, specifically its lockout being, you know, terrible. Other than that, its mid is okay. It's all right. It's not a bad map. Sometimes. Yeah.
Sometimes.
Anyways, because you're gonna take me away from this mic before I like beat Umami Ruin to the ground. Like, I'm gonna take it.
Yeah.
You know, it could be humpback. So like. Sorry.
Yeah, it could be humpback, right? It could be, and I'm sure there's some humpback fans that would love to see humpback zones right now. But unfortunately, Umami Ruins is where we're going. I don't know. It's not terrible. I mean, look, I'm not a big fan of the 2 zones, so you have to try to cap it. It doesn't mean things get a little more dicey, a little more I guess thrilling, you could say, to have to try to complete a full cap and either at the last second get your team that win or push for overtime. So very interesting to see what both of these teams are going to be bringing to the table too with their comps. Fufu, is there any weapon specifically you'd love to see one of these 2 teams bring out onto this map, even though you don't like it?
There's gonna be a blaster or slosher somewhere. Like, we know that for sure. If Flinking is playing, yeah, you know Flings is coming out, and if there's not, fraud. But I'm, you know, sorry. No. Their Flings is actually really solid. I've heard a lot of great things about Flings. So, you know, out of curiosity, I want to see it. Please bring it out. It'd be so cool. And I think it's just fine on this map just because of melee range. And something I want to know, you know, blasters and slashers are one thing I want to see, but you want to know what I want them to do with their bodies is take the middle. The top middle. I need teams to be able to take the top middle, because if you can't take top middle, you're not getting mid.
Yeah, no, a lot of players sometimes feel allergic to the top mid, almost like Flinking seems allergic to the Fling's eyes. They're actually going the Frozen Fluttershy Pro. Still has missiles, so still familiar with their special game. But unfortunately, we're not going to see the Flings just yet. However, we also see another interesting weapon. We're seeing Umbrella from Kez. That is the Inkjet Splatbrella. So it's going to be a really nice play to see here. Right off the bat, great pick from Flinking onto Organic, who's just diving on forward with those dualies. A lot of fights going in favor right now for 35 Caught. And Remix a little bit on his backpedal here, back foot, having to just play their range here, play a little careful as that cap goes right on into 35 Caught.
Yeah, and this poor Winter Rapid, unable to actually, they didn't get out with their lives, but their teammate did it, and there's going to be a little bit of cleanup from this Wiper. I'm going to beef with the name, but I respect them. I respect the speed of 35 COD. They are just overwhelming Remix with the amount of pressure that they're putting out on the field. This Wiper, unafraid to die, pushing them all the way back in exchange for their life. And, you know, these teams are even out in players, but look at the way 35 COD is placing themselves in terms of crossfire. We have multiple different angles. Oh, wait, pause. I think things are changing, Your Honor.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Nice inkjet shot onto Flicking. That's a delayed wipeout as the pencil is one of the last players remaining coming off from that spawn area, and that cap goes over to Remix. That was a great response Remix was able to have to the aggression that 35 COD was bringing to the table. Silly now is getting a little silly here as well. Going on in with the Zipcaster, but gets canceled out by Flinking. It's going to be another player down as well. 2 more players going down this side of Remix, and a jump coming on in is going to get camped pretty well here, unless Silly can get a nice trade off with it.
Yeah, a trade is better than a death for sure here. And again, I'm just loving the speed that 35 COD is playing at. I mean, they had a inch of space and they took a mile with it, and already seeing Slasher with the Zipcaster in the back, ready to cause even more mayhem. I think I'm forced to move a little bit back. You are playing so close to the line of death. You're making me anxious. Like, look at that. Look at that. But it's working, I guess. It's working.
Yeah, it's working really well in their favor. And what I think I liked about their zip is their zip wasn't made to get picks. Their zip was just made to draw attention, and did a really good job with that. Now here's Kids trying to do the same thing a little bit with that Inkjet here, try to scare away Fox and that pencil. A couple players now diving on into this pit area, and down goes 2 more players for Remix. Only 8 more ticks to go for that zone. That pencil standing still next to their cooler, just poking around that zip, seeing them coming on in as they knew they had seemingly won that game, and that will be a knockout for 35 COD for game number 1.
Beautifully done from 35 COD. I'm very impressed because that was just speed, and like it wasn't just throwing yourself to your death. It was being coordinated at the same time, and I'm very happy with that. I like that. It's not just overwhelming, it's strategical overwhelming. And I think they very much figured out that, oh, if we rush these guys, they can't do much. They have a Stamper, a Wiper, and a Winter Rapid. So, you know, I know for sure 2 of those weapons, or even 3 of those weapons, you don't want people in your face, like, or 2 in your face, because I know the Wipers and the Splatanas can like slash you from up close. But they realized, right, they want space between us and them. And if we don't give them that, they're not going to be able to function as effectively. And they took that and ran with it.
Yeah, absolutely. The really only opportunity that Remix had originally got that pushed back 35 COD was a nice inkjet play along with their teammates pushing in together with it. And the only next time we really saw that inkjet come on out was towards that end there, where unfortunately it was kind of popped on the side, a little bit of a solo pop to try to rid the pencil, but wasn't enough as the rest of the players were able to collapse on that pit area where the rest of their teammates were kind of diving on into. I think the coordination there was a little bit delayed, and that's what caused that end downfall. But regardless, great game played by both sides. Again, 35 COD, like you said, playing the aggressive game, making it really hard for Remix to find their footing, so they could kind of push in as that unit that they want to do. So with tower control Hagglefish here, that kind of aggression might not be so well for 35 COD, considering that tower's got a set pace. So it's not going to go as quickly as you would hope it would. So it's going to be interesting to see how 35 COD's going to try to adapt very quickly here, so they can get that tower rolling and maybe get a very strong lead with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Whoa, hello there. My voice broke. You hear that? That's crazy. Anyways, I think you're right. If 35 COD knows how to pace themselves coming into this, because they have a lot of great momentum. They know, you know, that they can push into a lot of space and be pretty smart with it. I think if, you know, these guys are good players, I think sending themselves to a pace, I don't think won't be as much as a problem going into this, especially because of how snowbally things can get in tower control once you actually start making that space. But I also really want to see Remix take something back here. And I think, yeah, we're going to be switching back to that bro. That bro was there last time.
Yeah, I think the only difference we're seeing is, no, I think both sides kept the same comp because I think Silly was Silly playing the Wiper before or Stamper before? I think it was Stamper because they did have a zip. So yeah, no comp changes. You know, maybe they're feeling that it could still work in their favor. So you know, maybe if first you don't succeed, try it again. If it's not, then maybe next game will be their change if necessary. But right now, 35 God immediately taking a lot of these players on Remix down.
No, absolutely. Again, they're showing that pace that they were showing last game. They're just moving forward and not hesitating to take any sort of space. And look at Inkling, just saying like, yeah, ooh, come look at me real quick. And then they just get punished by the rest of their teammates. That is insane. And like I said, it wasn't going to be too much of a problem because look, this tower's already here. You know, they made the space for the tower and said, yep, all right, let's move forward. Question mark? Question mark, actually? I think that jet might have done a lot of damage.
Yeah, that jet really caused the distraction that Remix was looking for. But 35 Caught did a great job at really kind of pacing themselves, playing a little bit of that slow game there, not going too far in once it was popped so they could take their time regaining that space. The rest of the teammates of Remix were taking over with some help from that Inkjet. Now, with a Stamper coming on out here, another play going down is the Umbrella. Hammer will be kind of using that tower to draw some of that attention away and block some of those shots. Down to 13 points remaining for 35 Caught, and Remix is finally going to take control of that tower. Oh, but not if Blink kicks out. A little bit to say about it, coming from a nice off angle, and that's going to be the Wiper as well, helping clean up some shots. Crab had to be popped pretty early on here to try to get a good defensive pushback. Flinking barely holding on to this tower. Will they get the checkpoint on their own? No, not yet. Just barely having that full cap of that checkpoint, and Remix has a long way to have to crawl on back, as a push to 9 is very hard to beat out on this map.
Absolutely. And I mean, just look at that. Where they're already back in center. We're back in this neutral position. And never mind, apparently there's actually a Wiper in the back lines, or like, sorry, a Stamp in the background by the name of Slasher, giving their teammates just look at the way they just, oh yeah, we're distracting in the back. Great. We're gonna just move forward. And there's 3 down on Remix again. This is incredibly rough for Remix because they're just under constant fire from 35 Caught. And you know, they're not given a chance to breathe or recover themselves at all. It's a never-ending story.
Yeah, it's constantly going, and you always have some player of Caught jumping on and being a distraction and going in from an off angle, and Remix can't find that footing. There's just too much pressure from all sides being put onto them, and they're not really sure which sides they need to focus on. I mean, right now it seems they're gonna kind of just take that risk of these players from behind, and looks like they will finally get a little bit more of that pressure put on them. So the last 2 players they're looking for will be finally in front of them, so now they can comfortably try to push this tower at least up into mid, so now they can have their plat back a little bit, use the paint around them to move around. Kez with a great pick onto Fling King there, looking to see if they can get a pick onto this pencil. They notice this jump here. Will that be go ahead and camped? It will try to be, it is the Wiper, and it will go down to a torpedo.
The torpedoes are really rough in this house, but Staley over here, oh, taking a lovely pick on Slasher. This is a Stamper on Stamper crying, Your Honor, and taking one off Fling King while they're at it. Are they going to get 3 here with the Wiper? That's going to be delayed wipe, I think that was at this point, in the favor of Remix, and aiming for that pen too while they're at it, unable to get that pick. But again, Silly did some damage and continues to do damage, as a matter of fact. What is Silly on? Because Silly's tired of this, and Silly goes down, but Silly made damage. Yes.
Silly made and did damage, but Slasher's also trying to do some damage as well and push really far forward, just trying to take as many players down as they can before they go down themselves. And the push to 95, it seems that's all Remix is going to really get. We could see Organic here getting a nice pick on one, but having to reset as they're not in the most comfortable position here. 35 Caught just constantly in control of this tower and in control of mid. With less than a minute to go on the clock, it's really hard to see if Remix is going to find that footing that they need so strongly to get this game finally in their favor.
Absolutely, they're just under so much fire right now, and they could very well knock us out before we even actually no, we're not going to knock this out because they just like suffered 3 down. But no, yeah, it's just incredibly rough because, you know, we blink and we have Silly taking like 5 people down in a row back to Caught just at the same time, pushing all the way over here in just the like within those same 10 seconds. It's kind of insane how fast the game is moving, and Caught just continues to put up the pressure. And these last 7 seconds, they're still in their base. This is grim for Remix because I think that is going to be game.
Yeah, I mean, really, the Pento only had to just kind of teeter that tower from that ramp area for the rest of the players of COD just to rush on in and just really hold the entire team of Remix together in their spawn area and onto their plat, and that really made it hard for them to get anywhere, really, past even their ramp section onto their I guess dive point. It's just really hard for them to get in, especially with a team like COD that's just always in your face, always taking the off angles, constantly jumping to each other. So there's never just one player behind you have to worry about. That was really a tough performance from COD that Remix had to deal with.
Oh no, absolutely. And I don't think they're going to be letting up anytime soon either. Again, this is like they're playing their cards right just about almost every time. And that even that when they go 3 down, they're still able to have a recovery and get themselves into a good position as quick as they can. And I think Remix just isn't caught up to that pace. They have to not only pick up the pace, but make sure they're picking up the pace and continue to be in the right position while they're at it. Or else they're just going to get, caught in the wave of 35 caught. So I think this is going to be really rough for Remix, but the chance is there. They just got to take it.
Absolutely. Once they were able to really get the I guess the Slayers out of the way on the side of COD, Remix was able to kind of go on in and push forward back into mid once they were able to take care of those players from behind. So if they're able to kind of be a little faster with that and a little more consistent, they could look forward a lot more and focus more of that objective. Now that objective this time around is going to be Rainmaker on Humpback Pump Track, where the snowball of all snowball can really push in here, and maybe Remix could use that to their advantage, right? All you need is one good opportunity, and then it's a strong defensive game from there. Now, same could be said for COD, though, although as we've seen so far in the past 2 games, they are not ones to stop pushing that objective. They will push it until it's either knocked out or if they're just stopped in their tracks and have to try it and try again. So it's really going to be interesting to see here which team's going to take initial advantage of this map mode combination.
Cactus, I appreciate your optimism, but I have some thoughts, and I feel I don't know. I don't want to be biased, but we haven't edits. What? They changed their standard edit.
Hold on.
Pods.
Not only that, but
I'm not as biased.
We're also rocking with the S-Blast as well from the side of Remix, so half a comp change might be the difference here. Flink King is finally on to that Flingza roller, finally putting the Fling in their name to use here, as right now they're going to try to go on and be pretty aggressive here. That's going to be a complete wipeout onto the side of Remix. Caught rushing to this checkpoint, immediately dunking it on in, and we're only 30 seconds into this match.
This is insane work. Again, despite all the comp changes, COD is still going as far as they can. Not really changing the way they play, but just changing the weapons to help, fit that style on this map. And people are dying left and right, but so much of the turf is still green. COD remains in a huge advantage, and Remix still might actually maybe be able to catch up with it. Yes? Question mark? Question mark?
The S-Blast is trying. It's a 1v1 situation, and as another player jumps on in, I believe that is finally all the players from COD push out of their plot area, but Remix is kind of taking their time, as they're not really sure where that one player went, where the rest of the players of 35 COD are going to be on the map. Rainmaker, I believe, was popped, so we will see that resetting fairly soon, as long as no players are flanking around. Okay, we will pick it up. I saw we have Rainmaker, and I got scared for a second, but Remix will pick it up, and they will lead a path to the right. Unfortunately, Rainmaker getting a little overzealous, diving on forward before their teammates can get the rest of the players out of the way. And they're going to see a lot of these dive on forward to hopefully maybe push for this checkpoint. But COD doing a great defensive game, using their specialists to their advantage here. Although Organic being sneaky does get the checkpoint.
Yeah, this is huge for Remix, and they're still all pretty much here. Or actually, we have 2 people on the left side. We only have 1 player near this Rainmaker. Pause. Where are we going here? I'm really confused. But seeing that jet coming out from Kez going down at the same exact time, I think kind of caught on that. What? What? That is not allowed. There's no way that you got away with living. Like, the crowd came out just, I swear, like frames before that hammer got to it. That's insane work.
I was about to say, pause, rewind, resume. I didn't even see that again. That was crazy work from the Crab, going ahead and just sneaking away. Somehow getting a trade, mind you, after all of that. Nice pick by Silly here on the Rainmaker, and the Jet to push this forward. This might be a push they're looking for, but not if Flink King comes in from the top ropes and dives on forward, getting not only the Inkjet, but the Rainmaker as well. It is only the Dooley player left up. Are they going to go for that pop? No, they're going to just go ahead and opt to try to trade, but unfortunately, don't think it will go into their favor. Slasher now leading the charge into the midsection here, trying to get a pick on Silly on the side, as they're not really in a comfortable position here to back a way out, and they will end up going down. 3 players down once again onto Remix, and Caught pushing his elbow and then some to try to push his Rainmaker even closer to that checkpoint.
Yeah, but there is a Crab threatening their existence and actually taking them out while they're at it, and that Crab is Organics, forcing that Rainmaker out of Cod's hand, and, Remix already setting up that crossfire, but getting quickly taken out by Flink King, getting read like a book, and once again, Cod is going to have that Rainmaker in their favor and try to move this forward. They really just want the knockout. This is hunger. This is the greed, and, it doesn't sicken me. I respect it. It's look at it. Yeah. All right. Good night.
Yeah.
Do I have to say anything? Dude.
That's
say anything?
You definitely don't, because Caught said it for you. They wanted that knockout, and it was like I said before. One of 2 things is going to happen, and unfortunately, it is the one that was in 35 Caught's favor of just constantly trying to knock out until they get it, and there it was. They secured that knockout and secured a 3-0 finish. So they are moving on to round 2 of Redemption over Remix, and Remix will be making their way to day 2 in the beta side of SuperJump.
Indeed, just an amazing showing of stream from 35 Caught. Honestly, they're playing Splatoon in a way that I'm like, that is the dream way of playing for me too. And I'm like, so seeing them do that, and it's essentially like execute my dreams in front of me. I'm like, I love that. I love that so much. The flow, the everything. I'm doing a lot of glazing, but really, I really enjoyed the way that 35 Caught was playing. And Remix, y'all did great at having to hold up against a never-ending storm. But as it stands, 35 Caught with that 3-0 sweep.
Absolutely, and they're going to make their way over to round 2 to go against Cosmic Wall, who we did see earlier in the stream today, I believe, who went against Black Lotus, and I believe took a 3-0 victory over them as well. So that's going to be interesting to see how that round goes out, but that will not be the set we have streamed next. Actually, we're going to take a small break before we bring out you the last set of the day. So don't go anywhere. More Day 1 SuperJump 6 action after this break.